Hey family, this is Darin Kid. I hope you're having a great day. I want to share some information with you that actually helped make me more money than if I had won the $1 million lottery. And I want to share that information with you here. So as you come on, do me a favor. Let me know if you're watching this live. Drop a 1 in the comments below. If you're watching this on replay, drop a 2 in the comments below. If you have someone you go, hey, look, this would definitely make a difference in their life and impact them, feel free to tag them. If you've shared the information, let me know in the comments below if you shared. That way I can, give you a shout out if you're watching this on live. But definitely excited to share some information that I believe will impact your life, not more ways than just business, and is more powerful than winning the lottery. And it was taught to me years ago. Welcome, Fred. Welcome, Carol. And let me share with you, first of all, start out by sharing a story. And by the way, as you're joining, please let me know where you're watching from, what city, state, province in Canada, what country. Always exciting to see how fast it's growing. And then again, tag people, welcome people, invite people, share it if you think it'll make an impact. So here, let me start with a story, and then I will share with you what that tip is that basically was like winning the lottery many times over for me and many other people. So several years ago, actually in the city that I'm in right now, there was a guy, this has been years ago, that I met that had this amazing car. I'd never seen a car like it in my life. And he also, it had a necklace around his, wearing around his neck that probably cost more than most people's home. And I walked over to him and I was just so hungry, and I was always looking for people that had the lifestyle that I wanted. Not that I wanted a necklace that cost more than most people's homes. Not that I do love cars, but I wanted a better life for my family. And so I walked over to this guy and I'm like, hey man, if you don't mind me asking, I love your car. And he was really nice, and we started chatting, and I'm like, hey, what do you do for work? And he's like, I won the lottery. And I'm like, I thought he was joking, and I laughed, and he's like, no, dude, I'm serious. He's like, I worked at the college, I worked over in the kitchen, and I won the mega $1 million lottery. And so we got to talking about what happened when he won the lottery, and he said the first thing they made me do was go to Richmond, Virginia. I had to sit in a room before they gave me my money, basically, and I had to watch this video. And the video was one horror story after another of people going, the lottery is the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life, right? It ruined my life. I wish I would have never played the lottery. Most people, and here's why, most people that win the lottery, not only did they go broke, okay, a lot of them commit suicide. They say it's the worst thing that ever happened to them. Most of them go back to a place that is worse than they've ever been before. And this is one of the tips I wanted to share with you, because what was taught to me made me more than winning the lottery. And I think it can impact you in your life as well. Because we don't make what we want, we make what we are. And if we want to make more, all we have to do is become more, and our income will always come back to where we are. So these people didn't become a multimillionaire. They were given millions of dollars, and our income always comes back. But if you take someone that is successful, they're multimillionaire, they're self-made, they went out there, they worked hard, they developed the skills and the know-how and the attitude and the tenacity and all of that, you take away their millions of dollars, they will go back and they will make it all over again. So when I learned from a mentor, Darin, you don't make what you want, you make what you are. And if you want to make more, all you have to do is become more. Okay? And I mean, how many people, does it make sense? If you're watching, drop a comment, comment below and let me know if that makes sense to you. So when they told that to me, I'm like, okay, I don't make what I want, I make what I am. And I get paid based on the value that I bring to the marketplace. But I'm sitting here going, man, I'm bankrupt 20 years ago. I couldn't make it through college. I can't feed my kids. I can't support my wife. I can't keep a job, right? I failed in life. I'm sitting in a house in the yard. My house looks abandoned because we couldn't afford to even put grass in the yard. And everybody knows that I'm a failure. I'm like, what hope do I have? And then when they talk to me about, here's how you become more. Right? Here's how you start changing your life today. How many people would like to know how to start changing your life today? Because you can give someone a fish and feed them for the day, but you can teach them how to fish and feed them for a lifetime. And my attitude used to be this: when I start making more, then I will start giving more value. Then I will start doing more. That was a terrible attitude. They go, Darin, the attitude comes before the money. The money doesn't come before the attitude. And so you need to start working on you. And so what I did, I remember I had an 89 after they repossessed my car, actually here in Lynchburg on Timberlake Road. I remember, someone gave us a 89 Dodge Spirit. It was two-tone. It was blue and rust. And the transmission slipped. True story. So when you got in the car and you're getting ready to drive, you just put it in neutral or reverse or drive, and then you give it gas and you wait, and then all of a sudden it would just jerk you, backwards or forward. So we park way out in the parking lot because it was embarrassing when the transmission would catch and everybody would look around. Then the fumes leaked inside the car. True story. So I remember my dad was always, "Hey, I'm really worried about the kids, you and your family, mainly the kids, because those that can kill you." So we had to ride, even if it was freezing, right? The kids we had to keep the windows cracked and put blankets on the kids because they're like, "Hey, we're cold." I'm like, either be quiet or we die. You have to deal with that. And so here I was driving an 89 Dodge Spirit. The headliner was coming down. So a lot of times it looked like I had a sombrero on because you had to keep the windows down because of the fumes leaking, and then the transmission. I mean, I know it sounds funny, but it wasn't funny when we were going through it. Now I'm like, man, that's a great story, but it wasn't great when we were going through it. But I went by my grandmother's because I'm like, okay, I don't make what I want. I make what I am. And if I want to make more, I need to become more. And by the way, this made me more than winning the lottery. And again, winning the lottery is temporary. Most people lose it, go back to a place worse than they've ever been. I want to become that type of person. So my grandmother had Brian Tracy's Psychology of Achievement audio cassettes. I don't even think the audio cassette player worked in the car. I remember having a boom box and I had to change the batteries, and I just started working on me. So how do we become more in every aspect of our life? Ask yourself, what are you reading? What are we listening to? What are we watching? Because all of that makes a difference. What we're putting in the most powerful computer ever designed, right between our ears. And it's a daily struggle every single day. I go, okay, I've got to become more. And we go, well, what do I read? What do I listen to? It used to be you had to go out and purchase things and you had to go to seminars. Now with so much free content online. So let me talk to you and be real. Because I think so many leaders talk about when they're on when things are going so great, and a lot of times it's not relatable. Can I get an amen on that one? So like this morning, growing up, I struggled with OCD. I don't know if anybody else has OCD. I think we all have it to a certain point. When I was a kid, it was really, really bad. I mean, if I would touch something and touch my face, I'm like, is it going to hurt me? And I would know that it wouldn't hurt me, but yet I would worry about it. I remember as a little teeny kid asking my mom, going, I know I'm worried about stuff, but I don't even know what I'm worried about. So I've trained my brain to really get over that. But if I'm really tired, really worn out, it will bother me some. So because we're closing out the month and we're working hard and very little sleep, this morning I got up and those negative weed seeds started to come in. Okay. Here's $1 million tip. $1 million tip. If you'll remind me in just a second, because I want to go back to it. And so what I did was I do not grab my phone. Let me tell it to you now, the $1 million tip. The $1 million tip, I'm listening to a podcast this morning. First, I listened to positive, uplifting music. When that negativity, that worry and that doubt starts coming in, and then I'm like, man, I got so much stuff to do today and I need to close the month strong and I need to do this and I need to do that. Nope. I had positive, uplifting music taking my kids to school, based off, just a good Christian radio station on the XM satellite radio. And then when they got out, I'm like, nope, I've learned to block negative and to fuel positive and saturate my brain and work on me harder than I'm working on my business. So what I did on the way home, I put on podcast. I listened to one guy's worth $400 million. The other guy is like, hundreds of millions. And I'm listening to them on the way home. And I'm just listening to what they did to go out and change their life, right? And man, I wanted to get out and run beside my car because it was so life-changing, the information that I'm listening to that's free. And then I get home and I put on a message from Pastor Todd Michael, and it was talking about the bamboo principle, how the bamboo is underground for 3 years. And he's talking about how the things that we're doing in our life every day that seem to make no difference at all in the act of doing them, good or bad. You're planting those seeds. You're working on yourself. You're reading 10 pages of a good book a day. That's about a book a month. Most people don't read a book a year when they graduate high school. So in 10 years, you've read 100 books. Most people hadn't read 10. Or you're listening to Drive Time University. I don't have a college education, but don't let that trick you. Don't let that, what's the word? See, I'm not that smart to even think of the right words, but I am. Don't let that fool you. Just because I don't have a college education does not mean I'm not educated. 2 to 3 hours of stuff this morning, even while I was working, our subconscious brain is always recording. And I'm talking to my kids about that. It doesn't matter if you're even paying attention. Your subconscious brain is always recording. So I was listening to this message about the bamboo. For 3 years, it doesn't even come out of the ground. And then what it will do is it will grow 2 inches per hour, like after 3 years. So in one day, 24 hours, it grows over 4 feet. So did it just grow 4 feet in one day? No, it was growing all of those years. You just couldn't see it. So as we're working on ourselves, we're reading the books, we're listening to the audios, we're watching the podcast. And then one more thing that last but not least that I'll hit on are associations. Okay. Is this making sense? Do me a favor. Drop some comments below. Let me know if you're getting something out of this. If you find someone that you think, hey, look, I got a teenager, this will make a difference in their life. I've got a relative, a friend, a family member, let me know if you share it so I can give you a shout out. Associations. You have to be very intentional about your associations. When my mentor taught me, look, we become the average of the 5 people we associate with the most. Show me your 5 closest friends. I will show you your future. Like that, I'm so hard on that on myself, but I'm also very protective with my children. Sometimes they don't get why we do not let them go do things and hang around. It only takes one bad association to take their life down a really bad path. And it only takes one positive association to really change our world, which has happened with me multiple times. So when your associations, they're like an elevator. You've heard me probably say this 1,000 times if you watched this before or listen to me before. Associations are like an elevator. They lift you up or they bring you down. So we have to ask ourselves, what are our associations doing to us, or what are they doing for us? And I'm intentional. When I first got started, I'm like, I don't have any positive associations. So my positive associations were listening to Brian Tracy's of the world, Psychology of Achievement, and reading Think and Grow Rich, and reading Robert Kiyosaki's books, and reading How to Win Friends and Influence People. Going, man, I want to become the best version of me, because somebody gives you millions of dollars. Why do most people win the lottery, lose it all, go back to a place worse than they've ever been? They didn't become that. But if I become that, it doesn't matter. People can't take the value that we have and become the best version of ourselves. They can't take that away, right? So that's why you take those multimillionaires and you rip it away from them. They'll go do it again. And you rip it away from them and they'll go do it again, because they became that person. So when you're intentional about your associations, whether it's on a live just like this, whether it's listening to the podcast like I did this morning, when I got up and I'm exhausted and I can tell, that OCD, that obsessive compulsive, man, just thinking about overwhelmed, right? And thinking about that stuff, which, by the way, this morning, here you've got a guy that had nothing, right? It's worth $400 million, one of the top podcasts in the world. Here you've got another guy that he's interviewing that's parents were married 9 times, like abusive home, and they moved 20 times. And he had all these excuses, but instead he used it as the drivers in his life, because we're a victim. We can't control anything. And he goes, you know what? I'm going to use this as the reason to propel me forward, right? Not my excuse, but my motivator. Okay. And what he did now, this guy is all over the world, and he's making, the story was amazing. But the point is, both of them talked about this. They go, if you want to change your world in the morning, do not grab an electronic device for the first 30 minutes, right? If you do, it better have positive programming, uplifting, no negativity. You're not looking at your messages, reacting, having your emotions, get involved. If you control the first 10 to 30 minutes of your day, just start with 10 minutes. And that I started doing this months ago. First thing I would get up in the morning, I wouldn't even allow negativity to enter my brain. I learned to really focus on, even taking my kids to school in the morning, being grateful. Right? And just the awareness of this. So like, I'm talking about not being grateful. Hey, we have a nice home, or we have a nice car, any of that stuff. Thank you for water to drink. When I pray with my girls before they get out of the car, thank you for clothes to wear. Thank you for food. Thank you for the sunshine. Thank you for the rain, right? I'm very thankful for health. Thank you for healthy kids. Thank you for time together. And so getting up and being grateful, getting up and plugging my mind into positivity, right? Whether it's a sermon, and then podcast. I want to work on every aspect of my life, not just business wise. Okay. And you don't have to believe what I believe, but I'm just telling you what I do that's made a difference. So I'm listening to that YouTube video, that sermon, while I'm getting ready and in the morning and shaving my head and all that fun stuff, right? And then I'm listening to podcasts and I'm growing. And every day I'm getting a little bit better. Every day I'm becoming a little bit better version of me than I was the day before. And are there good days and bad days? Yes. That's one thing they talked about this morning. It's pretty funny. In my mind, I visualized it like, look, if you're hey, welcome Monique from Canada. So in my mind, it was like this. If you're an entrepreneur, so many people get online and then what they do is they talk about all the great things in their life and it's not relatable. Here's the life of an entrepreneur. Like I was being real with you. I got up this morning just going, man, I got to close out the month. It's my first full month in a new company. It's been the best launch of my career. So it's nothing to be sad about, but I'm always pushing to stretch myself, right? To the next. So I woke up and immediately that negativity is trying to fight into my brain. You have so much to do and you're overwhelmed and you're this. Nope. I've learned to block it. Block the negative. I've learned to fuel the positive. I've learned to only let associations come into my life that reinforce my goals and my dreams and my beliefs of where I'm going. Like me coming into a new company. Anybody that had anything negative to say about me leaving another company or why would you choose the choice that you made? I didn't even reply. I did not want to give any mental energy to that. But instead, I intentionally looked for people that would reinforce my decision, that would encourage, that would motivate, that would inspire me. And it's life change. It's a life changer. Is this making sense? Hopefully it's making sense to all of you, but it's completely changed my life. From bankrupt, car repossessed, and you don't have to have that type of story either, right? You don't have to go, man, I just couldn't even feed my kids. I'm just telling you my story. And I think it relates to people because they go, man, if that Darin kid can do it, especially people that knew me in the past, they're like, man, bad attitude, bad temper, drove like a maniac, fighting all the time, whatever. Then they go, couldn't make it through college, couldn't keep a job, failed in life. Then they start going, man, if he can do it, then I can do it. And it's the truth. So that, let me see if there's any, I had a couple notes. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything, but is this hitting home with any of you? The last note that I had was paying the success tax. They talked about it on the podcast this morning. He goes, look, we have to pay the success tax. We have to go out and we have to do the things. People think that I can have a shortcut to success. There really are no shortcuts. It's working on ourselves every day, right? The longest distance to success is a shortcut. We have to step up to the counter and pay full retail price. So did I win the lottery? Yes, I won the lottery. I was not joking about that, right? When I was taught what I just taught you, to work on myself, right? To get better every day, to be careful what I put in my brain, what I read, what I listen to, who I associate with. When I started being intentional about all of those things, I am more excited now at 45 years old about learning and becoming better and knowing that, you know what? I hadn't even reached a small percentage of my potential. I'm excited. I can't wait to get up and learn every day, which is totally different than what happened back when I was in school, right? I just wanted to get through the day, slept through class, didn't want to do anything. So it's completely changed my world. So think about what you're thinking about. What do you read? What do you listen to? Who do you associate with? And then as you grow, enjoy the process. I look back through those times, and even though this has been an extremely challenging year, just being, real with you, I've learned to enjoy the process, knowing that the setback can be just a setup for a comeback. Knowing that sometimes we have to go through the mess to get the message. Knowing that I needed to become a better version of myself, right? I was as far as I could go with the water level. I had a water level. I was like, whatever. If we're a 75 degree person, I was right at 75 degrees. But when I started being intentional, even again, I got comfortable in the same environment with the same people. So I had to intentionally seek out 80 degree, 85 degree, 90 degree people and started hanging around those people and stretching out of my comfort zone and having people that saw more in me than I even saw in myself and thought possible, then going out there stretching, making some mistakes. And then what happened was I go, wow, I just built my confidence up because I was stressed. I was nervous. Didn't think I could do that. It was all faith. but I grew. And that water level went up a little bit higher. I went from 75 degrees to 78 degrees. And when the late billionaire Paul Meyer said, Darin, you will never go past your self-imposed limitations. Self-imposed. So sometimes the enemy can be the inner me. It's that law of the lid. And when he said self-imposed, you go, well, how do we get past the self-imposed limitations? Every time I go to a different level in my life, it's because I finally believed that I could. The enemy was the inner me. So I had to raise that water level, raise those degrees. And when I finally believed I could, what helped me believe that I could? What I read, what I listened to, my associations, changing my environment, being intentional, having to disassociate with people that, because it's really easy. Sometimes the biggest critics are the ones that we love the most. And they're doing it with love, but they're, that's a whole nother training. But I had to just intentionally make sure that I searched and seeked out the people that would help me grow to the next level and become the best version. So I hope this made a difference in your day. Once again, if you have someone you think this will make a difference in their day, I'm going to try to share as much as I can. I really want to make a big impact. I've had people that recently from around the world that have been, watching my YouTube and sending me things and stuff like that. And that just fuels me. It fires me up. People that really know me, they know I love to help people. And this is just a platform that allows me to do that, being on a live stream that can reach more people than I can individually. So have a great day. Put this into action immediately. Knowledge is not power. It's potential power. We have to put it into action. Take care. We'll talk to you in the next live.